Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind podcast, built for real estate professionals that want to work less, earn more, and make an impact in their community. For information on how you can become part of the Estate Professionals community, visit probatemastery.com. Welcome in. David and Douglas, it sounds like I jumped into an interesting conversation. Appreciate you guys kicking us off. So let me make sure that our recording's going. Just in case you guys don't know, this is our weekly mastermind call. So this is called the Estate Professionals Mastermind. We turn it into a podcast. We put it on our YouTube channel. If you guys go looking for this call after the fact, it usually takes till about the end of the week. The one from last week, we are a little bit late on. We had to edit a couple little things out before we publish that one on YouTube. But you guys can always go back and listen to these if you missed a nugget or you missed the call or you just want to listen again or go back and hear some of the old ones. You're welcome to do that. We're here to kind of give you some tips, tricks, advice, answer questions that you might have about the probate process, about helping families through the estate administration or the real estate needs that they might have as they're in probate. You guys should know that you get your probate leads in your average market. You're going to have about 70% of those leads that are going to have real estate connected. A good chunk of those, generally half, will be vacant. So if you're looking at lead lists and you're not seeing half that are vacant, that's fine. Sometimes it might be 70% are occupied by a surviving spouse, or 70% might be vacant. But normally from month to month, you're going to be dealing with about half that are vacant. And when they're vacant or the personal representative doesn't live in the decedent's address, you know that there's a pretty good likelihood that they're going to sell. So you guys could be like our friend David Pinnell, who goes in immediately and filters out all the surviving spouses. I don't know if, David, you're still doing that or not. I'm doing that right now. I am filtering out likely surviving spouses, and I'm moving them to the last half of the month. And I'm filtering in personal representatives that don't live in the decedent's address, and I'm moving them to the front half of the month. And my prospecting effort goes to the representatives that don't live with the decedent first. And as I've given them a really good effort and I've hopefully connected with half of them on the phone, now I'm just kind of dialing numbers that aren't answering. Now I typically move over to the surviving spouses or the likely surviving spouses. Okay, so that's the general process. You guys, if you're doing that, there's plenty of opportunity in the probate space. All right. So with that said, let me go to David. I don't want to put you guys on the spot. And Bill, if there's no questions in a minute, I'll probably come to you and ask you how your business is going. But David, haven't talked to you for a couple of months. What kind of pipeline do you have cooking?
It's a healthy pipeline, but it's actually pretty dead here, to be quite honest. It's just a weird market. I've got listings, I've got no active contracts. I'm just being honest with you. And I prospect every single day. So it's just really strange here in Dallas-Fort Worth.
So you have listings, you have a pipeline, but right now there's just not a lot of movement of inventory. Is that?
Yeah, people aren't. I have 88 people on my follow-up list that are in probate that have called me from letters. They have not sold the properties. I actually checked them all last week to make sure if there's any deed transfers with AI. It's really strange. We're just over 30 closings for the year and they're all probate, so we're doing really good with probate. But in the last few months, I've been working with a podcast company that I hired to help me get podcast out and just get me into making videos. So I make 2 educational videos a month now, and then try to do like Bill does, 1 attorney interview. And I just had a horrible call with an attorney. He couldn't get his mic to work, so that was I've got to do a little more coaching on that side.
Okay.
Uh,
I've run into
so
that before.
so I had to. I was really looking forward to it too because he had so much knowledge,
Mhm.
and so that's really going well. So I'm thinking of this business more of a like if I could. It, I'm trying to do the Omni thing where I'm present everywhere with
Mhm.
video and email video and video tips. And then I got the attorney events and I'm in front of the attorneys. And then I got my letters going to the PRs. So everything is starting to click and I'm becoming, you know, I I kind of killed my other retail business and I've been slowly going all in on probate. Um, so the business got slower the last 2 years. I'm used to doing about 70, 80 closings a year, but now I'm moving directly. Everything I do is probate niche, probate niche, probate niche. And I think that's where you just have to be if you're going to make it successful.
Sure. Um, that may be the case. I want to let everybody else here know that we're not telling you that you have to go all in and only do probate. Okay. If you choose to go all in and only do probate, that's that's fine. But if you've got other types of business that are pretty consistent and they're not taking tons of time to generate, um, please think long and hard before you go all in and only do probate. I just want to say that I have people that have only done probate and gone all in, and I'm kind of a all in on probate person myself. But don't crush all your other business, please, unless it's a strategic decision that you've thought about. Now, David, before I come back to you, there's two things that I want to talk about, and those are our videos. So the first thing is David's trying to interview an attorney every month. First thing that I do, I learned this lesson a long time ago, and David just had this pop up. He was doing an interview with an attorney, and there was a sound problem. Sound problems, video problems happen all the time, and if you have an attorney that's expecting you to publish their interview, you might have a little bit of an issue when you run into some problems on your end. So, very first attorney I ever interviewed, I brought him over and I set the interview up with, "Hey, I want to promote and market your business. I want to put this on my YouTube channel. I want to put it into blogs. I want to get you business through this interview that we're doing." And he got super excited and he showed up and did the interview with me. And he was the worst person on camera that I've ever talked to. It was terrible. And I went,
Yeah.
he's going to lose business if I publish this. And every week for the next 6 months, he emailed me asking when I was going to put his video out and put it on blogs. And I was like, I can't put this up. Okay. So do I want, when I do my attorney interviews, do I want to promote them? Do I want it on YouTube, both for them and me? Do I want it on blog for both them and me? Yeah, absolutely. But I stopped promising that that's the reason that we're doing the video when I talk to attorneys and vendors. So what I do is I say, hey, I've got a lot of people in my sphere of influence that need to understand the world of estate planning and potentially estate administration a little bit better. I was wondering if we could if we could have a conversation maybe on Zoom and sort of talk a little bit about it, and I can send it to a couple of my connections that I know would be interested in this topic. And then that way, if they are absolute garbage on video, then I haven't promised that it's going to get broadcast to the world through a YouTube channel. They're not expecting it to be broadcast. I can still share the video if they want to post it themselves. Great, that's not a problem. But I don't have to post it if I don't want to. And then when we get to the end of the video, if they're good, I go, hey, this has been really good. I think more people need to see you and see your business and see this knowledge. Do you think I could post this on my YouTube channel? So I wait until I see how good they're going to be and how informative they're going to be and how interactive they are with me. Before and when they're good, I say, hey, this has been really good. I'd like to actually do more than send this to a couple of my past clients. I think more people need to see this. Could I put this on my YouTube channel? That way, they're not chasing me if I don't want to publish the video. Bill,
Yeah.
have you ever had an interview where you were like, whew, I don't think I want to put this out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can give you a little background on it if you want a little more story about
Yeah,
it.
go for it.
I mean, I'm not here to say I'm all that in a bag of chips. I'm just saying I've been doing this now. I've been building my YouTube podcast for 5 years now. I've done, hundreds of episodes. When I started, you don't have any leverage or much leverage, and I would get that occasional. There's two things I would call. One is what Dave described as really me as a fail, right? You show up there a time ready to go, and the tree doesn't have an internet connection, video, audio. Everything's happened. Everything's gone wrong, and I just look at that as a relationship building opportunity like anything else, and we reschedule and whatever. I have other work I can do in the time slot. Versus, I've done interviews where they were just a dead fish, and I have a podcast on reverse mortgages called the Reverse Mortgage Podcast. And I only comedy up. I had a guy who I thought would be the greatest interview ever because he's so recognized in the industry. And he just speaking around the country, and he was just a dead fish. It just wasn't enjoyable. And I think the answer is on my podcast now, I vet people before I put them on the podcast for Probate Weekly. Meaning, when I talk to an attorney, I'll say, let's get together on a video and just see that it's going to work for you first. Because I'm going to get 1,000, 2,000 views. I can't just throw that away on a bad interview. Mm-hmm. But I would say when I started, anybody who would be willing to record the content, put it up, I think is a positive. If nobody watches it, does it destroy your channel? I don't think so. There's a lid for every pot. I would just you're going to do a lot of bad content before you do good content. I would say don't judge it till you've done 100 videos. I would do your first 100 and then start worrying about those things. Those are things that hold people back. And I would say just keep moving as fast as you can to get to 100 episodes.
More than fair.
Yeah, that's a really good point there. That's held me back for years.
Yes.
I started my YouTube channel back in 2006 before anybody knew about YouTube. And I was on NBC News touring a house. And I did not grow that like I wanted to because I joined some other coaching companies and then I got away from it. And I just think it's the most underused tool. And doesn't matter what you look like.
Look at me. Look at me. I mean, I'm no Dave Pinnell. I'm me, right?
Yeah, you do wonderful, Bill. It's people just need to do it. Yeah.
Can I say something, Bruce?
Let's go to Zach first, real quick, and then Douglas, and then Douglas. Zach, you had a question, so maybe we'll go to Douglas first.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, guys. This is my first time on one of these live calls. I've been watching you guys' videos for the last 6 months, and then I've finally signed up for Probate Mastery and just finished it.
Awesome. Good. Congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So I'm glad today's my lucky day because, Bruce, you can answer it and Bill can answer it too. But I kind of, what got my attention was Dave for his mailers.
Mm-hmm.
And I had started doing them. And so I'm on the letter number 2. But one thing, and this might just be really obvious, but it's like when I get my list, I do got to go kind of through it and verify if it's something's available, the market status, so that when I send the letter, I make sure that it's actually available. But now that I'm going through it the second time again, now I'm having to do the same thing over again. What kind of skip tracer do you use that's affordable, or how do you save time? Does this not have to go through the list again to see the market status of it?
So I could probably answer that real quickly. What I did is I designed an Excel sheet that I could download everything from the MLS and throw it into my Excel sheet to check to see if a house has been listed. That's a grand scale because we send out, let's just say 2,500 letters a week. So we just kind of just check it. I've had a few realtors say, "Hey, you're sending letters to my seller." I just apologize and say, "Look, we send so much mail out, I can't control it." And there's a disclaimer on our letters. But as I go through them individually to like these handwritten cards, once they call in or they subscribe to my website or some kind of permission, I have this handwritten card that I send them, and then I'll check that on AI, ChatGPT, and I'll just run and see if it's been sold in the last 12 months. So it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. With AI, we're getting closer to eliminate, and it goes down to who you're buying your contacts from. If you're buying the ones that have only real estate attached to them and you're checking them, that's important, I guess. And that's where we're moving to. I'm reducing my mail down to really the people that have real estate attached, that have registered on my website or viewed a video. It's you try to get detailed in the beginning. You're going to be like wide net, and then eventually you'll close it in and just prospect the ones that you really want as you learn the trends.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. I have one more question, and it's this. you know, I'm new. Like as far as probate, and I'm new into mailing, and I just did 300 of them, right? And I actually stopped the like next month's leads. But let's just say, okay, now I'm pretty sure you don't stop. You get a new lead list every month, and then you add it in. So how are you? How is that? I know you do a lot, but in the beginning, how can you handle getting that scaled up? Where it's like, the first month you're getting 300, the next month you're getting 600, the next month you're getting 900. When is it going to stop? And I know every month you're cutting down on some that are, that if you talk to them and they said they're not, they're definitely not selling, or like I said, the market status. But how do you handle that volume?
I have an answer to that. David, do you have something to say first?
I mean, we try our best. We could, if they call in and say they don't have a property sale, we move them to an inactive list. As we run the list against MLS every month or every Monday, we just check and see if a house has been listed that has a probate status. Not every realtor will label it probate, so it's not exclusive or all, it's not perfect. But most people will call in and say, "Hey, we don't have a house to sell. We're just filed the probate to deal with some other assets." You will get a bunch of mail back if you have a return address. That's your biggest clue that there's probably not a house to sell if it's vacant. Um, I, uh, we pick up the intensity on the vacant ones and drive by those if we have the opportunity for in the area of where we want to own real estate for investment purposes. Um, kind of went on. So it's not perfect. So we just try to eliminate them as we work through them. And as we send 3 or 4 letters to them, we'll move them off the main list, and then just send them a letter every couple months and see if they've sold the house or not, or if they still want to.
Um, my understanding of your question, Zach, is how do you continue to add new cold leads into your system every month without going broke?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave answered part of it, but
Yeah.
you're definitely applying the second or the that part
Yeah.
of it to it.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I literally just did this. So we're trying to finalize a kind of a JV or a partnership type of model that we'll be able to put in markets hopefully later this week. I've been saying that for weeks now. Really close to having it final for those waiting. So the idea that I did, and I used, sorry, Douglas, I know we're kind of off of the thing that you had to say. We'll come back to you in a sec. I just ran this model where I went, man, if I'm investing all this money and I know that the average person in real estate doesn't sell for 6 to 8 months. So the average person in probate doesn't make a real estate decision and put a house on the market for 6 to 8 months. You're going to have those that go in the first month. You'll have a percentage of probate applications that put their house up that fast. They don't know you yet, so the likelihood that they're going to use you, I mean, they could use any of us that are prospecting or mailing them. So the low hanging fruit, I don't count on. I count on getting a decent percentage of those that take 6 to 8 months. And then we also know, because we hear stories every single week, that my average deal, I hear stories from you guys every week, my average deal doesn't convert until I've worked a probate lead for a year. My average person that I'm signing a listing with, signing a contract with, they were in my system a year ago. I started contact. So what happens if it costs you $500 to get the data and an extra $1,500 every month to get a 6-month mailing campaign out and money for ISAs and all these different things? What happens? When do I run out of money? So if you can't sustain that period of time, what I want you to do is be okay just working a month or two of data at a time. The data companies hate it when I say this, because they want people that are in for 6, 12, 18 months, 18 years. They want that. And I'd like that for you as well, but I don't want you to go broke. I see it all the time. People run out of money. So if you got 300 leads, your first mission is to establish a conversation with as many of those 300 leads as possible and decide, are they in my pipeline or are they out of my pipeline? So if I can get 300 leads and I'm going to go with a little mail campaign and a call campaign, I want to try to get 20-25% of those 300 to have talked to me on the phone. All right. So if I can get 50 people to have talked to me on the phone, whether they called me because I sent them a couple of mailers or I called them, phenomenal. I'll find out the ones through good conversation skills, good communication, good question asking. I'll figure out the ones that have a likelihood of being a real estate deal over the next year. If I can't afford to implement my system next month, I'll cancel my leads, and then I'll work my 30 or 40 or 20 or 10 people that I figured out were in my pipeline and out of the 300, and I'll work them hard and I'll spend money on them. I still have a mail campaign running to the people that didn't answer. Maybe I still have a call campaign running to the people that didn't answer, but I don't have to compound the outflow of cash by adding another 300 leads next month and another 300 leads next month and another 300 the next month. I don't have to compound that bleed. Now, I'd love everyone here to be in the place where you can afford to compound it. I'd love that. But the reality is we have cash flow needs, and it's going to take a little while. So when I ran my calculations today, I said for myself, every 50 leads with real estate are going to result in 2 deals. But I'm going to work those 50 leads for a year. And I'm not going to plan on any of those 2 deals coming in the first 4 months. So between month 5 and 12, I'm going to get 1/9 of a deal each month. 1/9. How do you get 1/9 of a deal? I don't know. I mean, you don't get 1/9 of a deal, but over month 5, I'll get 1/9 of a deal, or 2/9 of a deal. Forgive me, because I get 2 deals out of every 50 with real estate. The next month, I should get 0.2 deals. The next month, I should get 0.2 deals. So I plan on cash flow flowing back to me from closings starting in month 5, and then I'll continue to work the pipeline I've built through month 12. And at month 12, I should have 2 deals. So if I can get 50 new leads a month and sort of sustain my business, I should eventually get to the point where every single month I can count on 2 deals coming out of the back end of my pipeline. That's what I count on. So sometimes you just start smaller and you do what's manageable and what you can sustain month over month over month. Sometimes you get a big list and you build your pipeline up and you shut your list off and you just work that pipeline for the next 12 months. That's up to you. Do you go a little smaller and keep getting leads every month, or do you go big and just cut it off every month or two and work your pipeline until you got your deals, till you got your cash flow, and then add 300 more leads and so on? The lead companies hate it when you do that. I think it's a smart business move.
I noticed some of them force you to do 6 months, and it's like that's the reason, because they know that you could just do 1 month and then disappear for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
And ideally, you got to think about these people. Some people are going to call you from influence or videos online. Some people are going to call you from a letter that they're thinking right now they're going to meet investors right when they get your letter. They may have gotten a letter a month ago from you. They just weren't in the mind frame of meeting people. Or you decide to call 25 people and you get a hold of that one person that's meeting people this weekend. Or they just happen to have a trip planned to come to Texas or wherever you're at that weekend, and they're ready to meet you. Or if you're interviewing attorneys and then they get a light bulb moment saying, "Hey, I got actually a client for you." That's happened on every single podcast I've done so far. That is the ultimate trend that I've noticed, that as soon as I get done doing a podcast with an attorney for an hour, they're like, "I've got somebody I'll refer you." And in the last 18 months, I've sent letters to attorneys, and I've gotten, I think I've closed 9 deals from 18 months, and 3 of them from the same attorney. I did 8 podcasts so far with attorneys. I've gotten 1 referral from each of them after the hour on the podcast. It's amazing. It's a big difference. It's a huge difference. It's the top of mind.
I don't know if you've covered it, but what kind of letter are you sending to the attorneys?
I'm just inviting them to the interview at this point with the QR code on there to scan it, so it's real easy for them to get on my calendar.
So you're inviting them to what is it?
I'm inviting them to be interviewed on a Zoom platform.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you mean now. So your strategy to get in contact with them is to invite them to your podcast. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and I swear every one I've done has given me 1 referral, 1 client to look forward to. It's amazing. And you get to spend an hour with the attorney. It's just real trippy.
Is it okay? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna ask a different question. I was gonna ask Bruce it.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say if it was okay if I got one more question in. If I know there's some time restraint or something.
As long as Douglas doesn't have to jump off right now. Does Douglas have to jump off right now, or can you wait a minute or two? Give me a thumbs up if you can wait a second. I didn't get a thumbs up. Zach, go for it.
Okay. So you've mentioned like a resource packet if you get a hold of somebody. So I've got people where I'd get an objection, but it was still an open door. But now I have to learn how to keep them on the phone a little longer and handle the objection. But I've kind of gotten them on, I'm not selling now. Call me in a couple of months. So I have that as like a hot lead, and it's just like, okay, what should I do with these people until if they say 6 months, obviously you guys say, contact them sooner. But, with your resource packet, I've heard you say like a box, I think, or if you're going to send it by mail, not an email. Or like when you send I don't know if you're sending a big envelope or something. Do you have an example of that? Or can you elaborate on what's inside your resource packet? Because I thought it was just like, a swag bag, and then some things like that. But, I don't know. I wanted to pick your brain about it.
I'm trying to get to the point where I put a version of that in Probate Mastery. It should be done soon. So I have a number of people that are in private or group coaching, and that we've developed some resources packages with them. And I have to a degree, protect the exact material precise material, so that not everybody is just sending the same thing out. So there are versions that are coming into Probate Mastery that are going to be really good for you guys very soon. Like I've been actively designing all week, all for 2 weeks actively designing. So I would probably go with a larger envelope. I'm just looking to see if I have any large envelopes around. So this is a folder. This isn't an envelope. This is a PNC Bank folder. So something about this size and as an envelope, and then inside of it, I would definitely have a letter. So you want a nice warm letter. Hey, we spoke. Um, a a list of different resources and services that you help with. So what do we help with? Let's just kind of go over. We help with attorney recommendations. We can help them set up and coordinate estate sales and property cleanouts. We can help with real estate transfer needs. Notice I didn't say real estate sales, real estate transfer needs. What kind of needs do we are under transfer needs? Mortgage. Are they keeping the property and someone in the family need to refinance? Do they need to keep the property in the family and transfer title? Do they need to keep the property as a rental, an investment property? So in that case, maybe they need a mortgage there, property management. Real estate transfer needs could be quick cash sale. We need quick cash. Could be owner finance. So I do talk about owner finance when I go real estate transfer needs. And then, of course, traditional listing services. So those are the 6 things that I'll put on a real estate sheet that goes into my resources package. I like to put a brochure. There's already a brochure inside of the Probate Mastery course. I like to put a probate checklist. There's already a checklist inside of the Probate Mastery course. If you guys go to the very end of the course and go to downloads, I believe it is, you'll find those. And then just think, what else could I put in there that might help them through the process? There's going to be a few things that I drop in that you guys can just kind of copy and paste in Probate Mastery. There are different levels of it. So there's some folks that may send a box out. By the way, boxes get to be extremely expensive. So make sure that those are going to hot leads. There's some faces on here that I recognize are sending boxes out. I'm good with that. I'll mention that there are boxes. They can be expensive. You better be pretty good at converting your business if you're going to spend big money like that. But the bottom line is, if somebody's a hot lead, you bet I'm going to spend some money putting value in front of their face. The last thing I want that value to be is a crummy commercial. So if those of you that have watched A Christmas Story know, little Ralphie got his secret decoder pen and he took it up in the bathroom and he was decoding, and he decoded this message and it said, "Make sure to drink your Ovaltine." And he was so pissed because he was like, I've been waiting all this time for a crummy commercial. So when you're sending resources packages out, obviously it needs to talk about the service that you offer. But I don't want the person to be like, oh man, I was looking forward to this, and all it is just a big commercial. So give them legitimate help through the process. So I just kind of gave you more of a way to think about what you might send out than the actual material. I'll put some actual sample material in there. I was showing some of the people in coaching material that I was creating yesterday, and they know that everybody else in Probate Mastery is going to have those. All right. Okay. There's no shortage of things that you can send out over time, though. There's absolutely no shortage.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm butting in here with a quick ask. If you're getting value out of this coaching today, I want to invite you to check out my Probate Mastery trainings over at www.probatemastery.com. Probate Mastery is for you if you're an agent or an investor that wants to work with motivated sellers that have inherited real estate that they don't need and in many cases can't afford. These sellers are more appreciative willing to trust your expertise, and less likely to nickel and dime you over commission or price. Why is that? They're often in the middle of a complex probate or an estate administration process, and this means that real estate is very often a burden on them, and they simply need the help. Inside of Probate Mastery, I teach you exactly where to source your leads, how to establish value, and offer your service in a way that quickly makes you, as the professional, your market's expert in the probate space. If you want to know a little bit more, go over to www.probatemastery.com. Hope to see you guys inside of the community. Thanks.
Yeah. Dave, do you do something similar to Bruce, or do you have a different strategy?
Yeah, if they're a hot lead, I'm going to send them a magazine that I created that really just showcases me. I need to build it up more, but we're just mass mailing people and then going on appointments immediately. So they're calling usually close to or after the court date, and I'm running into recently, and it's something I probably need to switch. But a lot of people are meeting a lot of investors these days here in Dallas Fort. There's a lot more people prospecting them. So, it's just, I don't know how to read that yet. I'm just going to get more focused on being everywhere on the internet. So, and educate them early on the probate process. So maybe, I recently just did a deal where we actually bought the house, and the only reason he called me is because I didn't call him. He only offered me the house because I was the only one that would not call him. So it's hit and miss. I don't know. I just can't read it lately.
Yeah. It is hard to read. I will tell you that for the average person in probate, Douglas, go ahead and unmute yourself now so that we can get your question. For the average person in probate who doesn't already have a really, really close relationship with a realtor that they're just locked into using. Okay. And there's a lot of them. We all know that people know realtors. There's tons of realtors walking around out there, and people know us. But for the average person in probate that maybe doesn't have that person that they will never not use, that's making a decision in 6 months, you can, with proper value given to them, you can become the only person that they would ever consider using. It's harder to do that. It's harder to do that if they're if they're selling in the first month, because you haven't had a chance to separate yourself. Now, David's going cold mail heavy. So when they call David, the relationship is set enough to where he doesn't have to prospect them in his pipeline for a long period of time. They reached out to him. I typically go a little bit more cold call heavy. So when I get someone in my pipeline, it's normally someone that's going to take me 6 months of nurturing. So it kind of depends on where that business. I can tell you that when you're kind of looking for people to call you, you're going to have higher quality relationships, but you're going to have fewer relationships. If you're going with the way that I do things, you're going to have lower quality relationships in the beginning, but it's going to be a lot more. Just depends on how you want that model to run. Douglas, I've made you wait for 18 years. What do you have? It probably had something to do with attorneys or videos or something, but I'll let you share.
No, it doesn't matter now. We've gone in a totally different direction, so I don't need to share.
Okay. All right. Next time I'll make sure to grab you earlier. Hey, Mike.
Hey there. How's it going?
It's going good.
Thanks for listening. I just jumped in here, and I apologize if I missed stuff. I was just making some calls myself. I had a couple quick questions for you. Number one, why do you call first instead of just mailing everyone? Since it's so expensive in your time for the calls, why not just blast it out to everybody and see who reacts?
Sure. Extremely valid question, and one that I can only answer for me. When I say I call first, I don't say you should call first. David doesn't call first. David mails. I call first because I know that with my call strategy, I'm going to get 50% of my leads to answer the phone in the first month, and that's 50 people. Let's say 50 people. Let's just say I start with 100 leads. That's 50 people that I've had a conversation with that I may have spent $400 for an ISA, where I could kick out a 6-month mail campaign, 600 mailers at $1.50 a piece, and I know that's expensive mail, but there's $900, and I'm getting a conversation with the 5% over that period that have called me. Now the 5% that have called me on my mail campaign, they've called me. Like, that's a good, warm, really hot relationship. The 50 people that I talk to on the phone, they're not hot relationships. I'll probably turn 25 of them into people that I can market to over time, that I can get value to over time. So I get a bigger pipeline. I do it my way because I get a bigger pipeline. If I can't get you on the phone in the first month, then I do a mail campaign. But I'm going to try to save my mail money for month 2 if you've never answered the phone, and save even more mail money, even more for the person that I've added into my pipeline that I had an outbound conversation with. Because once I've had an outbound conversation and I recognize by reading between the lines that you're probably selling a house, and I want to be really clear, I read between the lines. They don't often come out and say, yes, we're selling. Most of the time it's kind of, hey, we're really early. We don't even know what we're going to do yet. And you guys hang up and go, no lead. I hang up and go, they just told me they're selling a house and they don't know it. So people that I read between the lines, it might be 20, 25, 100. It depends on how many people you talk to each month that you read between the lines and you're like, I think that's a seller. I spend my money mailing them. And I spend very little mailing people that I haven't talked to yet.
I'm sorry, Bruce, you're able to knock out about 25% of your list then, because about half the people you talk to, half of those you're going to connect with and mail, and then a quarter, so half of those, nothing happens.
Yep.
Very good. A quick other couple questions, if you don't mind. When you're calling, because I'm starting to call and try to get some reactions here, many have said, hey, I'm going to list with a family realtor. How do you handle that? Do you keep trying to convince them to work with you, or do you say, nope, it's over?
Great. Hey, I completely understand. So you just gave a very specific answer. I'm gonna generalize your answer a little bit so that I can attack it. So I'm gonna work with another realtor I know. So a little bit more general. Normally I go, hey, that's great. I'm really happy to hear that you're loyal. I assume that's a family member. So I'll force them to get narrow, and then they go yes or no. Okay. If it's yes, then I'm going to go, you probably don't want to ruin that relationship, do you? No. If it's no, it's still, you probably don't want to mess that relationship up, do you? Okay. No, I don't. Listen, no problem. If I were to have someone that wanted to bring an offer, or potentially I wanted to bring an offer, would you prefer that I bring that to you before you list, or should I take it to your realtor? So would you prefer that I bring that to you before you list, or should I take it to your realtor? Okay. What are 90% of them going to say?
Bring it to me.
Bring it to me. Why?
Because they want to cut out the fees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they want to cut out the fees, how loyal are they to the realtor that they just told you they were loyal to? They're loyal to an extent. Okay. Now I can get an appointment. Now I can say, listen, I don't want to step on any toes. Could I take a few minutes to show you, if I listed it, what my plan might be? Here's my offer, or here's what I think I can bring you. I've seen the house now. Could I take a few minutes, or are you completely stuck, not stuck on using your realtor? A lot of times they'll go, hey, while you're here, why don't you show me what you can do? Now, if you can show and convey what you do better than anyone else, you've got a pretty solid chance of winning that business.
Very sharp, Bruce. Thank you. One other quick question. I'm sorry, I have a couple here real fast. If they say they're going to rent the property out, How do you handle that? Just had that
Oh,
happen.
great. So you guys are gonna keep it keep it in the family for a while? Do you know how much you're gonna rent it for? Perfect. You guys have someone that's gonna manage that, or you're gonna self-manage? We're gonna self-manage. We have a manager. Would you be open to seeing what management might save you in time and money? Okay. Now I don't want to property manage, so that's if you're open to property managing. I'm not. I did been there, done that. Don't want to do it again. Okay. Go look at the house. Maybe you've got a property manager partner that you can refer to, but at least it gets me in the door. And then I go, hey, you guys have talked about this. Is there a price that you might consider actually selling it for? No, we'd never consider selling it. Not a problem. Okay. But all I'm doing generally is kind of asking questions until I see a hole in their process, a hole in their commitment, a hole in their commitment. That's what I'm looking for. Sometimes they never show me a hole in their commitment, but if they do, I'm gonna exploit that.
Bruce, that was excellent. Really like this idea of asking for a price that they would accept, get them thinking on that. That was pretty sharp. Last question. I understand your system, or I think I understand your system. When you call in the initial days and you make maybe 5 dials to the same number, and you don't get a hold of them at all, you just keep getting voicemail. Do you eventually leave a voicemail? And if
Oh, yes.
yes, what's on the voicemail?
Absolutely. So in the beginning, it's semi-generic. I tell them what it's about. So, hey, it's about your application for probate here back on January 22nd. Okay, we're in September. Let me use a real example. This is about your application for probate. It looks like you guys just applied back on the 18th. If you could give me a call, here's my number. So not what you're offering, but that it's about their application or about the estate of so and so. I change that. So I don't want people listening to this after the fact and going, Bruce says this every time. I don't. Okay. But I'll say what it's about. I like it being about the application or about the estate of so and so. And then I don't really go any further. Could you give me a call? I've had people call me and say, hey, where's are you from the courthouse? Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply that. Could I tell you why I called?
That's
Okay,
great. Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate it.
cool. Thanks. Hey, Jason, how are we doing? Thanks for waiting, by the way.
Hey, Bruce. I love your system. I signed up in July and have been putting all the pieces in place. And last month, I met with an probate attorney, and he invited me to come back to host, well, not to host, but to lunch with the rest of his firm. And I did
Amazing.
that. Yeah, it was great. So I presented to them, gave them my value proposition, fumbled my way through it, but that was my first try. Well, actually, second try because I met with the attorney the first time. So my question is, you're talking about doing interviews with these attorneys. Is there an outline of basic? Do you have an outline of the basic interview? So the questions that you're going to ask these people. Granted, you have to tune them to your audience, but that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Okay. So I'm going to give you some categories of questions. Anytime I develop something with those in coaching, it just drives me crazy to constantly be trying to upsell everyone. I do not like doing that, but I do want you guys to know that there's some things that I've developed with those that I coach, and I need to make sure that they have not wasted money and time coaching with me that I'm just going to give out to everybody else. So I'm going to give you categories of questions that we came up with on interviews. So probate interview questions. I've got an interview. Okay, attorney. Bear with me.
Sure.
Did you have a follow up while I find my outline?
I have not. That was on Monday. No, I'm sorry. That was on Wednesday. So, it hasn't even been a week yet.
Okay, got it. So outline. I start by talking to them about their business, who they are, what they do, how long they've been in, things like that. Then I move into understanding estate administration and probate. So I ask some questions there. Then I move into probate mistakes. It's a really good one. Normally they'll carry the interview for a while if you talk about ask a few questions around mistakes that they see people make.
Okay.
And then maybe best practices types of questions. So what are the best ways that people can? What are the best things that your best clients tend to do that save them money and time? And there's a bunch of questions under all those that you can do. So sit down and think about best practices questions, mistakes, questions around mistakes that people make, questions around understanding the estate administration and probate process, and then about their business. And a good conversational attorney, you could ask 4 questions, and they'll carry an hour.
Okay.
A non-conversational attorney, you've got to ask 49 questions and get yes, no answers the whole time, and then say, I don't know if I want to post this on my channel or not.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. But I've been a realtor for a few years. I moved from the Fort Worth area, and I'm in Southwest Florida now.
Cool.
So I'm in a great market. People are dying here all the time.
Yep. Hopefully no personal representatives stumble on this and hear that. Just kidding. No,
No, absolutely.
Good market. It's a great market. A lot of opportunity there.
It is. And
Yeah.
I think we provide a valuable service. I've followed the system pretty strictly, got everything in place so far, but now it's time to start calling the leads. And that's everybody's stumbling block. Nobody wants to pick up the phone and get rejected.
And I want to be extremely clear with everyone here. I'm a big fan of running either a mail-only campaign or an attorney-only campaign or an in-the-courthouse-only campaign or a call-only campaign or combining multiple of those together. When I talk to you guys about how I spend a month calling leads before any mailers go out or anything like that, that is not me saying this is the best practice. There does come a point where you have to just choose. You say, I've got these 10 different paths to success and I can't do all 10, so I'm just going to pick one. And if you guys pick one that's not mine and you stick with it and you tweak it, you'll have success. But it is true, calling is the one thing that everybody hates doing. And the people that don't hate doing it normally aren't very good on the phone. They're bulls in a china shop that just don't mind rejection. So if you can be good on the phone and you can craft your offer and your message in a way where fewer people reject you, you can really build a great business on the phone. Your competition is calling saying, hey, congratulations on your husband dying. Do you want to sell the house? That's what your competition sounds like on the phone. If you can craft a message that they don't interpret that way, you're going to have success even if you're scared of the phone.
Absolutely.
Yep. Cool. Thanks, Jason.
Bruce, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, James, let's go to you, man. What's up?
Hey, Bruce.
Hey.
Saved by the bell. I just got in here at the end, right? So thank you again as always. Your previous call about crafting USP is like a masterclass. It was awesome. I have it on repeat. Do you know which one I'm talking about? About a year ago, you're talking about that everyone should have a USP. Okay, yeah. Well that one that you don't remember was awesome.
And everyone's gonna ask you where it is now. I don't know where it is.
It's just look up on the Probate Mastery YouTube page. It's about a year ago. It says something about it's like USP, crafting your USP or something like that. It's really good.
Cool.
And how everyone should have one. Okay. So my question is, maybe it's just because I don't have realtor training, but I'm a little bit confused, and I was wondering if you could help me figure out the best way and like the best format or app for creating. I think you call it like a CMA or a market valuation or some kind of home analysis or a net sheet. I hear all these terms, and as a newbie, I'm like, dude, what do I, like, I just want to be able to send something to, the prospects who are in my pipeline without scrawling it on a napkin and coming across as a hack. And so, like, do you have apps for that kind of spit out something nice, at least semi-decent? Or like, what do you do? Do you write it out on like a Word doc or something like that? Or, like,
Yeah, sure. Let's go here. Let me look. And at these coaching calls, I know it drives people crazy when they're listening after the fact and they can't see the screen share. So it was pretty amazing what happened yesterday. I asked Claude AI to create a market absorption worksheet. So I told it what I needed.
Oh, cool.
I needed it to have the address at the top of the page. It needs to lay out some parameters for competing listings, including the market area, property size, characteristics, bedroom, bathroom, price parameters, and other parameters. Then we need a section that lays out the number of competing listings and identifies the top 3 competitors that we need to beat. Okay. Then we need a section that covers the most recent sales over the last 6 months, 3 months, and 1 month in that market area that we've defined earlier. And then we need a place where it shows the market absorption rate. And I had no idea that it was going to do this. I don't know if you guys can see this here on my screen, but it kicked out an interactive set of code. I could put this on my website if I wanted to. Okay, so property address and then market area. So you just kind of define what the market area is. Property size, parameters, bedroom parameters, bathroom parameters, price parameters, any other parameters, you're just kind of popping it in. How many competing listings are there? So let's say we've got 44 competing listings and they average 12 days on the market. I know that's not realistic for now. And they average $180,000 per square foot, $180 per square foot price range. Then we pop our competitors in. So we've got 3 competitors. Now I want you guys to remember we've got 44 in this example, 44 competing listings. The 3 that I believe we're competing with the most are going in as individual properties. And then I do how many sales were in the last 6 months. So in the last 6 months, we had 89 sales. In the last 3 months, we had 40 sales. In the last 1 month, we had 2 sales. All right. Average sales per month, 14.8. And then I'm going to say sales performance metrics. Sold, they're going for 176. Average time on market, 50 days. Price reduction. I like to say how many of the solds had a price reduction, how many didn't. This gets kind of detailed. You guys don't have to give all this. But then I'm going to go absorption rate, and it just tells me based on the active inventory versus how many sell a month. So remember, I had 44 active, 14 sold a month. It calculated that for me, and it tells me that there's 3 months of inventory on the market. I normally give this. I typically give the months of inventory that are on the market. Now, when I'm on a presentation, my presentation is a lot more simple than that. My presentation is like this. I'm thinking about incorporating something like's on my screen right now, but when I go on my presentation, that sheet's gonna look a lot more like this. So property address. Oops. I'm getting some problems. Okay, property address. Define the market area. Market area, price range, bedrooms, bathrooms, property size. Active competition. Number of listings. Average days on market. Price per square foot. Top 3 competitive listings. So when you put a listing on the market, whether it's yours as a flip or it's yours as a wholesale or it's yours as a listing, You need to convince two people of the value. The first person you need to convince of the value is the buyer. The buyer doesn't know what sold. They know how your house at that price range compares to the other houses that are active on the market at that price range. So we use active comparables when we're trying to get a buyer into our house and convince to make an offer. After they've made an offer, now you have to convince the bank and the appraiser. So bank and appraiser are going to look at the closed comps in a much tighter parameter. So then I go recent solds. How many sold in the last 6 months? How many sold in the last 3 months? How many sold in the last 1 month? Days on market, price per square foot, average sales per month, list to sale price ratio, and then the top 3 comps. And then I show them, hey, we've got 44 active listings. We've got 14 average sales per month. That means it's going to take 3 months to sell your house if we price the house at market value. Are you okay with 3 months, or would you like to go a couple of percentage points under market value? Okay. And then I'll show them some comps. Some people show a CMA or a broker price opinion. I just show comps. So I use this one sheet and then show my comparable sales. And then I use this, the average time on the market based on this. So we've got average days on market. That's fine. But based on the amount of inventory and the number of sales that sell every month, it's going to take 3 months in your price range and your type of home to sell your house if we go full market value. Are you okay with that? Or would you prefer to price the house, beat the market by a couple of percentage points? I can't take 3 months to sell. What would an aggressive price? And then I say, well, at 400,000, it might take 3 months. What if we did 385? Could you do that? No, I can't go that low. Okay, then the higher we go, the more likely it is that we're going to get closer to the amount of inventory time to sell your house. That's the way that I explain it. Is that 100% true? No. Average time on market is more an accurate indicator of how long it takes a full price house to sell, a little bit more accurate. I like using the absorption rate to show how long it's going to take to sell a house, because that usually helps me get pricing a little bit more aggressive and sell faster. Does that make sense?
My brain's a bit boggled, to be honest with you, but okay. I mean, it's okay. I know it's probably a step-by-step
first thing. How many active listings are competing with theirs in that market area that any buyer that's looking at their house is going to look at? How many are there? Then you look over the last 6 months and determine in that same set of parameters how many houses sell on an average month. So you divide the active listings, say 100. 10 houses sell on an average month. So you divide 100 by 10. And it says there's 10 months worth of inventory in there that match their type of house. Okay. That will tell them, if you can kind of define it like that. 10 houses sell a month. There's 100 active listings. That means it's going to take 10 months to sell the average house that's like yours. Do you want to price at market value knowing it might take 10 months, or would you like to get ahead of the market?
Okay.
So I do that on one sheet, and then I show my supporting comparables to show them the houses that our buyers are going to be looking at. And say,
but this is for your presentation, right? Like what you mail is something different, or do you actually mail this out?
I don't put this in follow-up. No, I don't put this in mail.
Right.
This is presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you don't do any kind of, or mail any kind of valuations or anything like that, market analysis or anything, just to kind of show them like, look, this is kind of ballpark. This is what
I have. I get a little, I'm rethinking that. So I was doing that a lot. I've been rethinking that lately. So I haven't been putting evaluations in my mail packages.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
not that you shouldn't, but I just haven't lately.
I'm sure everyone's going to ask, so I'll just ask, are we able to get that Claude AI prompt from you? If not, I get it, but I'm sure I saw someone in the chat ask. And also that market absorption analysis, is that something that is available for Probate Mastery folks, or is that just like a personal in-house thing that you use?
It's in-house. I'm going to do a listing class here soon that will have this. So this, I've been using this. I'm putting it into a little bit more of a presentation style. So as soon as we do that workshop, you guys will have the sheet. Anybody that wants to go back and watch the video and hit pause and create it, you guys can go ahead and create that. I just published the absorption rate prompt. I want you guys to know I've never used this prompt, or I've never used the absorption rate calculator that I just put in chat. But I wanted to kind of show on a coaching session how easy it was to create an absorption rate analysis. So I did that, and all of a sudden it kicks this this calculator out, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is really good." Okay, so I just put a link to that absorption rate calculator into our chat. Queenie's on here. Queenie, help me remember to put that link into the show notes when we publish the call.
Okay, sure.
All right, cool. I'll just pop this up one more time in case anyone wants to grab a picture of it. All right, on the screen. Anybody that wants to snap a picture and maybe duplicate that, it's fine with me. All right. We're after 3 o'clock. We are super late letting you guys out. Really appreciate everybody being here. Thank you guys so much. Be looking for an email, and I've been saying this for 2 weeks. There's some of you that are like, please, Bruce, just get it done. I've been tweaking and adjusting. Partnership model coming out ASAP. Essentially, I get your leads, I prospect your leads, I market to your leads, I hand you over conversations that have been had. Anyone that's interested in doing this is going to have to give me a really big chunk of your business, but that's coming out soon. Not all your business, but the probate business that I generate. So that's coming out really soon. I was hoping for last week. I've got almost everything done. I've got to put a bow on multiple different little pieces that I'm hoping I can put together within the next 2 days or so, and then we can run a workshop and kind of show you guys what that might look like in your market. For those of you that are running really good businesses, I want you all to know that this will not in any way, shape, or form compete with what I've taught you guys to do. This is going to be something completely different, but it will impact anyone that goes into kind of a partnership type of model in your business or in your market. So it will, anyone that's interested in that should come to the workshop that we have. I am really hoping by Friday, really hoping. I'm not committing to it because I'm already a couple of weeks late on putting the final touches on this. So by the end of the week, maybe beginning of next week, we'll have a little workshop showing you guys how I run my business by the numbers. And at the end of it, I'll show what it might look like if you teamed up with me in your market. All right. Appreciate everybody being here. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully we get to see you soon.